Okay, we are live. Hello everyone. How are you doing?
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi, Vyasa. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning. Good
morning,
morning.
all.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, so friends, in the audience here, I've seen Muihan is here, Viranasa, Zarul. Sorry to keep you all waiting. We had a little bit of technical glitch. Anita, hi, Ramasamy, Mallory. Uh, you know, good morning to you. We have here today Badrie Bob, Dato Aliyah, and Raja Azura, all right, to share a lot of what went on during the recent hunger relief project. But before that, if you want to say hello, just drop in and say hello to everyone here. Uh, okay, Huing is here, Mallory, Loon. Morning, amazing people.
She is also very amazing.
Yeah,
Going.
Bob, you were sharing that you had two other functions going on at the same time, right?
That's right. We had
Yeah.
a Teachers' Day event live with NUTP, and we also had a MBA immersion live session with Prashant happening at the
Oh,
same time with Prashant
Oh,
Chada.
what is it about?
The MBA immersion session is a sharing session where thought leader comes uh, into the classroom, basically the virtual classroom, to share innovative practices, forward-thinking policies, practices, and all the kind of stuff. For today's session, we actually focused on one of the MBA modules called known as the topic was on managing organizations. Managing
Okay, got it,
organizations,
got it, got
right?
it.
Right. Yeah.
And you are managing something right now itself. Uh,
I'm managing two ladies here this morning. Two of my sisters. Two of these.
wonderful teacher,
I
okay,
please.
mean, yeah, I'm learning a lot from
two
them.
wonderful ladies.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
I'm
beacons.
sure you'll have
Yeah,
your beacons. Yeah, your beacons.
yeah.
Dato Alia, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Yesa, and happy Teachers' Day to everyone. I see some nice chats there. Thank you. Good morning to you, to Lance and Tanin and Zarul and Anita Shan, who's doing personal shout outs there. So thank you. And also to
Okay,
Rampan and everyone else.
okay. Wimi, Lance, Duan, Tanin, Wasan, Lim also has said hello here. Hi, Raja Azura, how are you doing?
I'm doing great as always. Very positive morning. Looking forward to many
Wow, wow.
conversation. I'm always well
Yeah.
inspired by the two brother and sister that I have here, with their tenacity, with their energy. Vyasa, you as well. So I'm sure that we're gonna have a very great conversation today.
Oh,
Talking
yeah.
about
I'm really,
Let's kick it
yes,
off.
I'm really
Let's
looking.
kick it
Yeah,
off.
let's take it off.
Yeah.
Let's take it off.
Kick it off,
11,
Yesa.
11. Yeah.
Yes,
Before
yes.
the
Okay.
rest
So,
all get tired of us.
okay. And a big shout out to the Tulips Movement gang who's watching here and who have done a lot of work behind the scenes, right? And they're not here today. I know I always hear from Bob, Dato Alia, and Raja Azura on all the things the team and the management in Tulips, working behind the scene. They're doing a lot of work, and a big shout out to you. All right. So, for all our friends here who are watching, let's hear it a little bit about what is Tulips Movement. How it was founded. It was actually, I need to ask the big man standing here, who is like a lot of times behind the scenes, and you can't really see him in most of the times because he's very shy. He's the one who's founded the whole Tulips Movement. Can we hear from you a little bit, Bob, on what's the reason you founded this Tulips Movement, why it happened, and what's the story behind?
Sure. Thank you, Vyasa. Thank you very much. Selamat pagi, salam Ramadan, and a very good morning to everyone. Happy Teachers' Day, and uh, yesterday was Hari Belia, Happy Youth Day, right? So Yes, thank you for that question. Number one, I'm actually camera shy, so I don't normally go on live sessions or or do live talks, because basically I'm a very deep thinker. So I do a lot of thoughts, deep thinking, and I need some time to actually digest everything before I come out with my uh, thoughts, right? So yeah, having said that, Tulips movement came about, or how it came about, when I was in University Utara Malaysia, prior to joining UNITA International University. Uh, what I started there was known as the Big Tulip Summit. So the Big Tulip Summit was uh, was a summit meant for women and was to empower women, right? It's a platform to bring all these women leaders together and then come and share their stories, experiences, their journeys. And it was very, very successful. The first one was launched by the then Deputy Prime Minister, Dato Sri Wan Azira. And yeah, the subsequent one was held in Penang, and it was a risk that we took, that 19 sorry 2019 in Penang, uh, because just after the elections and all that, so we moved from KL to Penang, but the response seemed to be growing. There were more participants, and by then we had already come together. Most of us on the first summit came together and had this idea of forming a movement. So I will just give credit to a couple of people who behind the scenes inspired this whole entire Tulips movement. You can see two of those ladies right here. Those two of them, they are they are principals, uh, accomplices in this principal accomplices in this Tulips movement. Yeah. So basically, there there was a void that we explored, or there was, sorry, a void that we discovered in the women space. We had three very strong organizations within the women's space. One representing the 30% club. So I think most of you all know about 30% club. They're growing leaders into the boardrooms. Then we had lean in. Lean in attract uh, the younger generation, the younger leaders, the aspiring leaders, and all that. And then we had also lead women, right? Lead women also prepares women for leadership roles and boardroom roles. So when we sat down and looked at it and said, look, there's nothing being done across the spectrum, across the entire, from young activities, from those even, in students and all that. So there may be a gap here that we can come in and fill up. So yeah, so basically I started this, uh, and I made a very right decision of bringing in uh, Raja Azura and Dato Aliyah to as advisors. I think that was a major decision and critical uh, decision made, where you can uh, how Tulips movement is today is because a lot of their inputs, their sharing. And I can tell you, these two people are really very sharing and caring people. And subsequently, we put together a council of mixed leaders in 2019. And yeah, people come, people move, they got priority. Now, it is a uh, voluntary movement. We are not driven by profits. We are doing everything voluntary. So there are some who are unable to dedicate their time, right? The priorities. So some people leave, and we brought in a new batch of young leaders, and these people are dynamic, making a lot of differences. and helping us drive it forward. So, in essence, the Tulips movement is a community-centric organization. But while it started off as a woman-centric organization, we are slowly moving towards a community, society kind of thing. We are also, but with the main focus on women, right? With the main focus on women, but carrying out activities for other segments of society. Let me make it. Let me make something very straight. Let me get a very. Let me put something straight. Right? We are not a charitable organization, so we are not a yayasan organization, right? But we go to the aid of the vulnerable and the marginalized society. If there is an urgent need, just like what we have done for the MCO hunger drive, right? So we are very much focused into empowering women, into into providing interventions that will lead into development, right? Personal development, right? So I think basically the picture there. You can ask these two wonderful women, ladies. Uh, they got a lot of things to talk lah, you know. They are pandai boleh cakap punya. So get Aliyah on the line, and she will, you know, she'll put the two of us. We can exit lah. We can exit the room now.
Okay, yeah, okay. Before we do that, yeah, Dato Aliyah, we definitely want to hear from you after this. But let's just say hello from to our friends in LinkedIn, GD Naidu, yeah, your favorite
Hi,
friend.
GD.
Okay, and then Dr. Amina from Dr. Amina Josetta, and
My
then
sister,
Farisha,
father sister.
yeah, and Bawani.
Yes,
They're all
Bawani.
here also watching. Andrew Chong has said good morning also.
Good morning.
Okay,
Morning,
so
Andrew
Dato
Chong.
Aliyah, do you have anything to add on, you know, what Bob has said just now?
I think it was very extensively explained on what Tulips is about, why it started, and obviously there is a group of women behind it, but it's not about us. I think we need to remember that the movement. It's not about who is in the movement and who's representing the movement. I think the whole thing that we're very focused on is what is it that the movement does and what do we do and who are the people we reach out to. And in line with, I think we are still holding on very much to the reason why we set this up, which is to unleash the potential of women out there, to empower them, and also to support the men who are equally supporting this woman as well, to rope the men into the movement, to support the woman that's approached us or that we wish to approach through the various channels and events and activities that we have done in 1 year. Next month, Biasa, Tulips Movement turns officially, we turn one on June the 8th. So in less than 1 year, I'm glad to say that we have done quite a bit. Benefiting the women in general, obviously, but in most of the events, we have seen many of the men come forward and support, be there, help. Obviously, you can see even GD is online and he's come to our events. Dato Jake has come. Prashant is forever, very, very helpful. You yourself have, become a member now in Tulips Movement. So it's not just all about the woman. It's not, about us, whether it's Raja Azura or myself or the fact that Bob is the founder. It's really about the mission that, why we set this up and what we want to do and how we're going to go, henceforth and do more. I think that's the message out there.
Okay, got it.
Okay, Vyasa, you see, now you see why you get Aliyah on the show.
Well, I'm sure everyone here has got a lot to share today, right? How do friends who want to join this Tulips movement, how do they go about it? What should they do?
Raja, you want to take that?
Okay. You can actually go to our website. On the website itself, you can actually register yourself and put all your details. We also try to see whether you want to be a volunteer or you want to be really active by being part of the subcommittee of our Tulips Movement, because there are lots of activities that we had in mind that we want to do. But this is a voluntary organization. So we have to take into account that everybody have their day-to-day things to run as well. So getting more people to be involved in what you want to do will be great, especially getting people to volunteers and be part of the Tulips Movement, not just a member, but also the subcommittee. So we welcome everyone. Go to our website, tulipmovement.org,
Okay.
right? And you can actually register yourself there. And our membership team, led by February, will be in touch with you shortly.
Yeah. They can visit our website at www.tulipsmovement.org. I think Melanie has typed it out on the chat group. So if anyone wants to,
Yeah.
join
It's,
or
it's,
find
it's
out
still a
more.
it's still a work in progress. The
Yeah.
website is still
Right,
very
yes.
much
I think, yeah,
work in
and our Facebook is also on. So if you're, logging into our Facebook, you'll see a lot of the previous events that we have done, 1 year, which comes up to almost, 10 events that we have successfully done, or we have had partners involved with us in reaching out to the mass out there.
Yeah. So before we go further into the topic for today, I'd like to thank a lot of people on behalf of Tulips Movement, uh, especially the collaborative partners, right? Of recent, we had a very big event. Uh, we went global, and we with the UN Global Compact Network Malaysia, who have and who are our partners, and will be partnering them on the women agenda, right? Uh, and also like to thank a lot of other organizations who have stepped forward and helped us in our journey in the last 1 year, right? Many individuals, so many individuals we got to thank, but we are always in touch with them and they know how we feel about them, right? So, most of them are online here. I'd like to say thank you to all the people online. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, sir. You can go.
Bob,
Keep forward.
Bob, you can actually do a shout out to them later on in the show. So, it's good to let them know what's going on.
Right.
lah.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's start the whole story about the hunger relief movement. All right. So how was it really found, and what happened, and how did you all know about this whole problem, and how did the whole movement start? Maybe Raja Azura, you can answer this.
Okay, sure. When actually MCO is about to start, and then we start getting people to talk about what is exactly is happening on the ground. Dato Aliyah actually reached out to our Badrie and myself, saying that there are many people out there who have been asking whether there's anything that Tulips Movement is going to do to help out those people on the ground, including you, Jessa, if you remember. So we then try to gather a few people from Tulips Movement. We know that the council is pretty busy because they have lots of other activities that they need to run. And then we say, okay, let's keep it at our level and try to see whether we'll be able to get this run accordingly. So I remember early April, that's when the first meeting started. And we put you guys to come in as well to start looking at how do we want to do this hunger relief. And yes, that terus on. That's what you want to add something.
I think Vyasa, I have to give you some credit here because you're also the culprit behind this, a good culprit, in the sense that you actually hosted, I was on your 3 o'clock, matters, and we actually spoke, and what we spoke about was merely the Tulips Movement and the fact that we are also known as the connectors. We seem to have a lot of good, supportive, kind, friends out there from various industries, a lot of professionals that we knew who we know who wanted to come out and, always be very supportive and help and never said no each time one of us asked. So when this matter was exactly brought up to us after that session where we said we are connectors and things like that, 3-4 days down the road, it happened on your show then that people started to approach Tulips to say, if we give Tulips some money, can Tulips be the person or the group that actually disseminates these funds in a proper channel, in a proper way, with full transparency and governance, knowing that, I think looking at me and Raja Azura being on that being as Tulips advisors, and both of us having this extensive background on NGOs and things like that. So I brought this up saying that Tulips has never done fundraising. I think we have emphasized that quite a bit, and we are not into fundraising actually. So because of this MCO and the fact that how could we say no when people actually are suffering out there, right? And we have seen it, we have heard it. We witness it through friends and families telling us it's very, very difficult. But I think one thing that I want to remind everyone here is the people, we'll share with you who the people we helped, obviously. But a lot of these people that came forth, either we'd never heard of them before or they've never actually approached, simply because they were depending on the man on the street or the general public to visit them during every day. So you will find that they were actually getting a lot of aid through the people coming by on a weekend, people bringing trays of eggs, people bringing flour and rice and things like that. But bear in mind, during MCO, everybody was, housebound. So people couldn't really go out. So this is where the problem started, where these organizations or homes or, the people, and even those who were working, even though it was a meagre job, a small level, occupation that they were having, whether they were hawkers or car washing, guys, everyone was on lockdown and they did not have their daily income. And a lot of them in Malay, we say kais pagi makan pagi. So I think that's where a lot of people literally sangkut lah, were lost. So knowing, I know that when I can say no, I was extremely sure bringing this to Badrie and Raja Azura, they will also say no lah, basically. So, or they didn't dare to say no lah to me, so they did. So Badri's question was, okay, how much do you want to raise? That kind of thing. So Raja and Azura and I get very, very excited every time we want to do, this type of event. I think it's our DNA. So every time we think there's some avenue of helping somebody out there, it's good. So we said 5,000 ringgit. Right, so we said 5,000 ringgit. We worked out about 6 ringgit a meal. We worked out and we said, okay, let's at least help 100 people. Right, so we had in that first meeting, we thought, okay, and actually the rest of the Tulips members were not even in the know-how about this, because as Raja Azura mentioned just now, everyone was very, very caught up by the third week, trying to adjust to work from home, trying to adjust and see what's going on with their own lives, their family, trying to get on webinars and Zoom and etc. So we wanted to raise 5,000 ringgit. And in 4 days, we hit almost 20,000 ringgit. We hit 20,000 ringgit in 4 days. So then we had to call an emergency meeting. If you think the ministers are having an emergency meeting because of COVID-19, you have no idea how, the three of us. So we had to rope you in, and we spent our nights having emergency meetings, figuring out, gosh, we've now got 20,000. All right. So that means we need to do more. So we then slowly moved on from the 4 main homes that we wanted to do. So if I can share with you, we reached out to the Chowkit, the people in Chowkit who have families. It's actually a huge number there. We figured out it was about 600. And then after that, Raja Azura's advice was, let's narrow down to 60, if I'm not mistaken. And then you brought a family to us where 14 people were staying in one small flat and could not go to work any longer. So we took that into account. I realized that there was a children's a home that was looking after the elderly, single mothers, and also children, boys and girls, orphans, under one home, in one home, so that was 45 people stretched out. So, and obviously people could not go in to give them their daily essentials and groceries and things like that. And so this is where we slowly started to give out the aid. And then obviously when we had more money with all our emergency meetings, we started to reach out to more people, bearing in mind that every single one was vetted through properly. We wanted to make sure that the money was going towards the people who really needed the money. We wanted to make sure that we also connected the people who were cooking, the people who were delivering in that areas, so that they would also get some money. So it was not just helping out the homes and the individuals for food packets, but it was also helping out the cooks who no longer could cook because they used to have a stall or a warung. It was no longer helping just this small group of people, but we extended to even the drivers who no longer could drive, or delivery services. So it was quite an extensive reach out, I must say, and with the help, the three of us and yourself, three of us, and myself, I think we pulled it out, and then pulled it off well. And then we reached out again to Lawas. We reached out to the Lawas community, where they are actually staying, literally in their rumah panjang or wooden houses, and they have families there with kids, and they were not getting a lot of support from the people out there. So we got in touch with one of the NGOs that we could trust. And so we got them on board, and we sent groceries through these people. And then we also helped out somebody from the masjid who was doing a lot of voluntary, working with volunteers, around Gombak area, helping them out. So all these, whatever that was given to us, we processed it. We did some background searches. We did some background checks. We monitored daily. Every day was photo taking, whoever who sent it. So we were looking at who was getting what, how much was given to who, how did they spend money. We wanted receipts. We wanted them to send us photos that the food was delivered properly, that they paid. They were given food, and we were not shortchanged as well for the people that were helping us. So it was, quite an extensive thing that we did, and I'm very glad that some of them who have come out and reached out and donated to us are also online today. So sincere thanks, for helping us reaching that target. And the total amount collected was 21,101 ringgit.
And 10 cents.
Yeah, and 10 cents, is it? Yeah. So 21,110 ringgit and 10 cents. Yes, every cent we counted for. Yes, and I think the last bit of the money that we had, held on to was due to this upcoming Hari Raya. So the last bit of money has been allocated to, some has been spent, and some has been allocated for groceries again, and for the upcoming Raya, food packets on Raya morning for 500, for 100 people in a place where foreigners and people like that can't go out to work. And of course, we have also extended help to a new dialysis patient who is a single mother of two. It's very difficult for her, so we've taken the liberty of paying 1 month of dialysis fees for her, so that she does not need to worry about having to pay fees and her kids, and also Hari Raya, coming up in a week's time. So these are the additional people that we've decided to help, and also some OKU, 10 OKU families with OKU children, or the family has someone who is OKU in that family. And I think this week is our 1 kilo a family, where every family gets 1 kilo of fish. Yes, so that's going out to the PPR flats. So so you see, we've made sure 21,110 ringgit and 10 cents is well spent. Yes, sir.
I can see that.
Sorry, but we have to be very transparent here with the funds. Yeah, so I have to tell you, quite an extensive story, simply because there's really, really a lot of people out there who have donated to us, and we have helped more than 10 families. If we're talking about individuals, it's hundreds of individuals. There was also a bunch of students who were trapped in somewhere in Kelana Jaya, who could not go back to their hometowns due to the second extension of the MCO. PKP. So we actually gave them 13 days of food packets every day, at least a meal, right into the fasting month until they could go back. So that was 50 students that we helped. Yeah. So generally, what we wanted to do is we wanted to reach out to all races. We wanted to reach out to from the young adults to people, the old people, the young people, single mothers, the men on the street, the women on the street. So we looked into even in the case of Sarawak, even babies, because they needed, I think, Pampers and milk powder and things like that. So we wanted to make sure that we did not miss anyone out. So we covered right through that spectrum of from babies to elderly folks to Malay, Chinese, Indian, mosque, temples, Christian, Chinese. Yeah, because I mean, as a community, we're looking at people in general. Yeah, so every single person matters, regardless of race, religion, or gender. So that was very, very important to us as well.
Yeah, I think I just want to add something as well. As we are doing the act of kindness, what we figured out, the people we are helping as well is doing the same thing. They are also doing the act of kindness. I give an example of a cook who we have actually asked her to cook at Chowkit. She actually don't have daily income. She's a daily wager person earning from pasar malam. So we have actually asked her to help cook for 65 people. And, it is so heartwarming to know that she then said that she wants to contribute as well. Part of what she gets to give it to the people who's in need.
Yeah.
So this is where the real act of kindness happens. We help someone to earn certain income so that they will be able to earn their living. But at the same time, she used the money that we have given her to cook, to add more to what have been given out there in Chowkit. So
yeah, she wanted to do her bit as well. Yeah, so that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is a good story to hear. Yeah, really good story to hear.
Yeah, in fact, I've also come across these kind of stories where those who we were looking out to help, and they said, no, I don't really need the help right now. You can pass it to somebody else. And you can see that the level of humanity there. They don't want to just simply take things that we can pass to the people who are really in need. I came across that, and I can remember all the late night meetings also, to deliberate on who to give, exactly how much, how this person should go, or versus this person versus this person versus this group.
Yeah, we had
there was a lot of deliberation.
Yeah, we had nightmares looking at Badrie's Excel sheet.
Oh yeah.
And Badrie was always the person behind the scenes.
Yes.
Coming up with all the Excel numbers and sheets and exact amounts and all.
Yeah, he knew that the two ladies would want every single cent counted, and was extremely particular. So he made sure that way in advance, since he's worked with us before. So before we asked, ensuring that do we have enough money? Do we have enough money? How much more can we give? That kind of thing. So we were constantly looking at the amount raised, as well as the amount, because we did not want to hold on to any of the donations we received. So we just looked. I spotted a comment from one of the donors, actually Lance, who said that it's more complex operation than you perceived, and thanking us for the work that we do. We thank you for allowing us to do this, to give the opportunity also to Dr. Mimi, who said the same thing. She also contributed to this, so I think it's not so much, like I said, it's not about us. We are only the vehicle here, and we are very blessed that we were given this opportunity to do something during the MCO, and maybe, so sometimes it's not just all about the money. So it was really, really good to, help all these people out with all your donations. So we thank you for making it possible.
Yeah, I think the donation
said,
goes
well
a
said.
long way.
Well said.
Yeah.
Huh?
Raja Azura, you were
I
saying something?
don't say anything anymore.
I was saying that the donation given actually goes a long way. Some of the PPR people, this is what I gathered on the ground. The assistance didn't get to them. Some of them just have to take whatever ulam or things that they can get somewhere nearby the flat and all. And we are actually reaching one of the PPR on the 18th of May to give a kilo of fish a day to 150 families. That's a lot of families that we are helping.
Yes.
Lawas,
A lot of families going to eat
of the condition. So, when we told them that we want to help, the excitement of people and getting to know that they're going to get help, that's just I can't explain it lah. Yeah? And they really thank us for all the assistance that has been given, and even in Chowkit, because the Chowkit project I actually monitored it every day. They send every day the pictures of those families that we are helping, the kids who didn't get enough food on the table. We are having our food 3 meals a day. It is really heartwarming. It's really heartwarming.
Yeah.
So thank you all for your support.
Yes, we are very, very, fortunate actually. So what we're doing is actually nothing compared to them who are actually going through this even during this time. Even though the ban has been lifted and people can go back to work, but don't forget that they had struggled and they're still struggling, and some of them are actually paying back debt, some of them have lost their jobs. Even when these stalls and restaurants or small businesses are open, and when they open now is fasting month, so it's really, very, very sad again, because the whole days, the whole day they can't sell anything, and then during fasting period it's very competitive of what you're going to buy and what you're going to eat, sort of thing. So it's really, really very difficult for them. So we, our heart goes out to all these people who have struggled, who are still struggling, and we're glad that we were able to do at least a little bit of help and assistance out there to all these families. And like what Raja Azura said, every day, I think you were in the same group of photos that we are sharing. So you would have seen umpteen photos coming in, from old people holding food packets to people walking in childcare to the home where they cooked in huge amounts, and how they bought vegetables and things like that, and showed us the bill, groceries for 45 people living in that home. Just for 2 weeks was over 1,000 ringgit. They gave us the breakdown and the bill. So it's really not easy, and we never knew about this. Yes, so MCO has also brought this out in us, and knowing me and paying forward, and the team that's paying forward, I think it was only right for us not just to say, but walk the talk. So I'm quite glad that a lot of people have chosen to walk with us and pay it forward as well. So hopefully this continues, because there are still a lot of people struggling out there.
Yeah.
To all the donors, thank you so much. I think without your help, we definitely could not pull this one through, for sure.
Yes,
there are a lot of donors who are so quiet and don't want themselves to be known also. Anonymous donors, right? Okay, so let's just see a short video, a very short one, on who are some of the beneficiaries. Okay, so I remember at one time when the first 2 days when Bob saw the pictures, he just said he couldn't help tearing, seeing the beneficiaries receiving the good, and they're so happy because someone stepped in with your kind assistance on someone actually stepped in to do something for them. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bob.
yes, sir. It's very touching. It's very touching to see all these pictures. Uh, Basically, I think everyone here, all the viewers out there, and including all of us here in the room, uh, has have done quite a lot in their lives, lah. Right? Everybody has, I think, uh, Malaysians are known for their generosity, and in times of difficulty, they have always stepped forward to help others. Right? And I think going beyond the financial burdens, I think now what we are seeing now is mental health challenges. Right. Yesterday, I shared a survey done by the center, a very reputable research house. They just published it, their survey on 15th, and on the effects of the impact of the MCO on jobs and also mental health. And it is it is very very this survey has shown how weak we are, how weak humans can be, right, in the face of adversity. When they face adversities, how our mental health always challenged, and 65% of the respondents uh, are facing mental health challenges, right? And this uh, is very sad. It's, the impact of the MCO and also uh, pandemic, and I see these effects going not only in the short term but in the medium term. It will manifest, and it will also have a long term effect on the overall uh, well being of society, right? So it takes some time for people to make that adjustment back to being normal. So you need a lot of counseling. All these people need a lot of counseling. So if there are any counselors out there, I appeal to them. This segment of society. Even I'm also mentally challenged. I'm sure I'm also mentally challenged because we are facing very stressful conditions at the workplace, right? Uh, Changing from conventional way of doing things to being always online. Practically, practically 18 hours a day, I'm online. So it's a mental challenge here. So if having said that, uh, financial burden is one, financial hardship is one. I think we also have to look into the emotional state of our fellow Malaysians, lah. And if we can help them in any way, let's try to do that also. Yeah,
Okay, so
within the Tulips movement, we have got very many good counselors, coaches, you know, who can actually come on board and also assist, who can step forward to also assist. So if there are any segments, any of you out there, viewers, who think that you've got a group of people who need some counseling, please reach out to us, lah. I'm sure there are people like Dato, Azura, and many others out here who will volunteer gladly to help out this group of people. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
some friends have actually asked in the comments section, what they can do to help. I mean, not only in this hunger movement, but the general tulips movement, how they
Yeah.
can jump in to help. What can they do?
Oh, there's a lot of things they can do. There are a lot of events, activities, interventions, lot of things. So it's very easy. Just go on to our website. There's a form to fill. You can always state which area of your you can contribute. Or just reach out to our membership lead. She'll be able to guide you. February, June, she'll be able to take you all through the process. Yeah, there's we need people who can design, do a lot of artwork. We need people who can do the comms, who shouts out, right? Who can write well. Yeah, just like any other movement. Most of the planning, I think the planning stage, we are very much in control. Strategic organization is also strategic management is also very much in control. But it's all the other tasks where we have difficulty. Website administrators, right? How to do. We learned over the last couple of days, do it yourself creative video, online videos, right? Right. How to create online videos and all that. Right. So so we need people who have got the expertise to come up and help us. And a lot of them here in the chat group, DD Naidu is there. I thought I saw siapa tu Nadia Hanim is there, Shamini is there.
Rinanu is there.
And then Dr. Amina is there, right? North Felicia is there. So they're all very capable and very in their own. They have got their own expertise. Please come on board and help us. When we do the shout outs, please come on.
Yeah. I think what most important about Tulips Movement is we are looking at people who don't just look at what is in for me.
Yeah.
It's about helping each other to ensure that we'll be able to unleash our potential. And we are looking at people who are passionate about delivering assistance to others. And also it's about not just receiving, it's about also giving. Because I always trust the best of leaders will be those who love to give. Because the more that you give, I can assure you, you'll get more. So do lots of good deeds so that the good deeds that you do will come back to you. So in that manner, it will build a leader who will have humility, who will have the better EQ part as well. Because you want leaders who are wholesome. I mean, that wholesome leader will be able to not just do the action by the mind, but also and by the hand, the action, but also by the heart. So that we will have a very capable leader who will be able to look after people out there in more overall manner.
I like to echo what Dato Aliyah mentioned at the very early part of the show. It is not about the three of us, or it's not about the Tulip Council leaders. Was never about it. So you can that is one reason why I'm not on shows and all that. Talk to this and all that. Basically, it's about doing good for society, right? For the communities out there, for those. Yeah. So I think we all have got a common goal. Those who are here viewing this show are also aligned, the same way as all of us, and everyone wants to do something for better the lives of others. So yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone.
All right. So what are some of the plans going on forward for Tulips? I know there are some events lately that was happening, some conference and all. Could you all share a little bit more of what's going on, what went on recently, and also what are the plans of Tulips going forward?
Yeah. So one of the good things about MCO, how you look at this, right? One of the good things which came out of the MCO is that we had a very steep growth in our follower base, right? A lot of people start to recognize what we are doing, and they've come aboard as followers. So there was a 25%, nearly 20-25% growth in numbers in followers, and we have also during the MCO, some of the organizations, professional bodies have actually reached out and said, hey, how can we collaborate in the women's space, right? So moving forward, it will be always about collaborations with universities, with colleges, with the professional bodies, uh, with the corporates and GLCs who are into this, who are aligned with our mission, right? Uh, and ambition. So I can tell you for a fact that we don't normally lend our brand logo to any organization. Yeah, we are particularly selective in that area. So even uh, some trainers have approached us and said whether they can do some programs with the tulips. No, we don't really do that. Right? So we work with any organization which has got a social agenda. Let's put it that way, right? So we will work with them. Moving forward, I only can see a lot of good things happening for the movement and also for the society, where we are involved in adequate segments of society where we are involved. So I think Dato Aliyah probably would like to expand on that.
Yeah, I think Badri covered most of it. I think when we are looking at progression, we're looking at, again, coming back to what we wanted to do, and that's why what we wanted to do in terms of our women movement and assistance and unleashing their potential and empowering them, and also not forgetting and leaving the men behind. And that's why we did, on the 1st of May earlier this month, we actually had the webinar with United Nations, global impact, and even the representative, the senior manager from New York, was on the line with us. And so we extensively talked about one of the SDGs, which is the Sustainable Development Goal. And SDG 5 is actually the gender equality. So we are very much committed to ensure that we are working, that we will work with the United Nations as well. So that's one of the partners that we have now, got on board with us, on board to help us. And together, I think we will, create some waves in the next few months, coming forth. Obviously, we are not forgetting those who are out there, who are in their late 20s, who have just started, work or are looking for jobs, and early 30s. So our, the younger leads, the younger, those who are on the Tulips Council, the younger batch of our very prominent and eminent women out there, young leaders, they will be having another talk on the 20th called
Yes.
Sembangku. So for those who want to come on board and listen to, especially if you are in your late 20s, your early 30s, or if you have, are leaving your job, or you have your job, is no longer there for you. You want to move on to something else. You want to look for something different. You want to explore entrepreneurship. You're looking at new businesses. What other ways can you, survive in time to come? Especially, I don't see this normal that we used to have is no longer going to be normal, obviously. So moving forward, that's why everyone talks about the new normal. But I think having just to say new normal is not enough. I think the question is, what are you going to do in the new normal? How are you going to cope with the new normal? Right? And, how are you going to, even if it's for survival skills in the new normal, what are plans in the new normal if, which now it's not going to work, if you're going to continue doing what you were doing before. So I think it's a major change shift for a lot of people. Don't forget that emotional side of you, because a lot of people, it's not just the mental, it's also the emotional side that's very unstable for a lot of people. Yeah, so I think it's an entirely wholesome thing that we are trying to look at. Yes.
If I may, Dato,
Yeah.
add anything else. Yeah, good that you reminded me of the UN Global Compact
Yes.
partnership will be taken to a next level, where they're talking about some certification, for women and all that kind of stuff, training, professional development, and all that. So, biasa, we are a very small of people. So we have got limited resources. We are, and the ideas which flow out from the council, from advisors, and from me, every day we want to do something. You know, we want to do something, some new event, something. And we don't have the kind of resources. Our people are all stretched. Remember one thing, that we are all volunteers, and I really do not uh, put the pressure on the council leaders, because it's a voluntary thing. So so if we can see over the last 2 months, we have turned out maybe about four, five events,
Yeah.
right? So it takes a lot. We worked with Mercer on one event. Prashant was there. We worked with the UN Global Compact, and then we had the other event which is coming up now, featuring our young successors. Four of them. Uh, so there are a lot of things happening in a lot of events in the pipeline. Uh, but having said that, again, whoever wants to come and contribute and volunteer to help us, there are several projects which are coming up, and this will be on a project basis. So we will manage it on project basis with some of the leads chairing the project. So moving forward, you can see a lot more of noise coming out from the Tulip Movement, but all good noise lah. It's all good noise. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's all about yeah.
Yes, do you have
Okay.
some questions that you want to?
Yeah, just maybe like after this, you all can also shout out to the people in Tulips Movement who have been working tirelessly background. If you all want to do a shout out to them, or any people who have contributed in any ways, please feel free to do so lah. And I just want to share that for friends who are watching here and who want to volunteer, from what Raja Azura, Dato Aliyah, and Badrie have said here. If you want to volunteer, just comment in the post below, volunteer, and the Tulips team will get in touch with you. All right, just comment volunteer. All right, and in the meantime, uh, Dato Aliyah, Bob, Rajazura, any shout outs that you all want to do to the Tulips gang who have worked tirelessly, I know.
Let me take the lead lah. I will shout out to all my council. High five to all of them. They have been working very hard, putting together the events, and also we have got the three series on the COVID do it yourself creative online video. That actually took the entire council to come together and roll it out. So I'm very, very proud of this lead behind this, Dr. Wendy Liu, and also the communications team, Mallory Loon, Ravani, Siti Mariam, right? The membership team, February Yoon, the financial, the branding and communication side led by Ulrika, then Hui Ying. Yeah, so there's so many. There's so few of us. There's so few of us doing so many things, right? And on top of that, they've got their daily jobs. So I think we all should be giving them a big clap, pat on their shoulder. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all my council, to all the council leaders.
Awesome. Yeah, that Aliyah, you wanted to say something?
Yeah.
No, I was just, very curiously reading all the chat and the messages and feeling very, very happy. So much of support and love out there. So, so I think I just wanted to, because we can't see both sides. Yeah. So, so whatever I can see, I'm just looking at it thinking, thank you very, very much for the support. But like I said, we thank you for giving us and opening this door for us to do what we can do. To all donors out there, if you want to shout out, there's just so many of you, but really there was too many people that we have from all walks of our lives, and friends, close friends, from other states, Hello to you too from Brazil, Lorena. Yes, okay. So we have, and we this has gone past. Very glad to note, even in our UNGC when we had the 1 day, 1 hour event with UNGC. We even had people from Australia dialing in, so that was really really good. That we indirectly all this is now going, and I think that Bob's mission when he first started was also that Tulips movement go global. So hopefully we can connect with those around in other countries, other states, and and you can help us to pay it forward as well. Yeah, you can help us to pay it forward as well, and we can tell you how to do it. And then I'm sure you'll do a great job of helping us, and because this is all for the good of humankind and mankind. And being a global ambassador is also my job to make sure that we continue to do good, like what Raja Azura said just now. For me, it's I think the other reminder is don't expect somebody to return whatever you do to you for you, because then you don't have very much expectations and you can't get disappointed. But don't think about what's going to come back to you and whether it does or not. We believe that it will, but that's let that be at the back of your mind. I think we are very fortunate. We cannot deny that. We are very fortunate. Most of us have jobs. Most of us have a comfortable home. We have food on our tables, and we have people around us who love us and connect with us, and keep sending us stuff and things like that to just show how much they care and how much they love. But there are hundreds and thousands of people out there who are not as fortunate as we are.
Yeah.
So if there's one thing that I want to remind everyone is, I think we have to learn to be very, very grateful, and we can help. It's not, like I said, it's not just about dollars and cents, but it's also the keeping in touch, asking how they are, connecting them to some assistance if they need, rather than it's no longer me, what's in it for me. But I think we need to now come out and share and see what else we can do for other people. So it's not all about money. So if you don't have money, it's charity. Like I say, don't just do charity, do humanity. Okay.
So let me with that, I also like to add something. I come from a school, St. Anthony's Telentan, and their motto, the school motto is Caritas non ficta. Caritas non ficta stands for charity without hypocrisy.
Oh, that's great.
So when you give charity, don't be a hypocrite, right? Don't expect.
Somebody from Hello Untan just now on the line who said hello, Badrie.
That's one.
Yeah.
Shima
So,
from Hello Untan, so hello Shima. Yes.
Raja
this is
Azura, if you want
great.
to add something.
Yeah, I think I want to shout out for one is actually our council. Thank you very much for your patience. There sometimes we ask a lot of things to be done, and all they are very committed, and they really put everything to make sure that things can happen well for us. Thanks so much to to those who donated for the Hungry Relief Program. You all are awesome. We can't do this without you, and because of you, we have been able to reach hundreds of and help hundreds of people, hundreds of families out there who's in need. And without you, we can't do this definitely. And most importantly, as well, that maybe we missed out is the people who's helping on the ground. The volunteers on the ground who help us to extend the assistance to those people who help out, the NGOs, personal friends, personal assistants who have actually helped to ensure that the assistance then reach the right person on the ground. I want to thank February and Ulrika as well for Hungry Relief, because they are the two who have been helping out to ensure that the money and also the donation then keep in proper account, and then ensure that it has been given to the right party as well. So you don't have to worry about all the money went to the right beneficiaries, and we still have balance of 617
ringgit 40.
Yeah, and we will ensure that money will also go for good cause. So thank you very much, Biasa.
Yes, we want to thank you for highlighting this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity, Biasa. Thank you for allowing us to come and onto your show. Thank you for inviting us to onto your show, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank
So
you.
let's work together, be there for each other, and help each other in terms of moving forward to see how exactly you want to be better. And after MCO, there are a lot of things gonna happen. So let's work together and
Yeah.
be there for each other.
Biasa, are there any questions for us before we take leave and say goodbye?
Yes, I think we are coming to an end
If not,
already.
sorry. So if not, Dato' Aliyah can go the whole day, until buka puasa. He go on until buka puasa, you better,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun working with you all on this project. Definitely, and then there's a lot of very clear. Everything has been very good and transparent, and every single cent is accountable for. So that was really good. All the late nights and I know that there are a lot of late nights where I didn't join into. It's just superb. I'm glad that this project has concluded, and I know there's a lot more tulips is going to come up with after this. Friends who are out here, do volunteer because I think you'll learn a lot with this team here. So Bob, Raja Azura, Dato' Aliyah, just stay back for a short while after this. We have finished this live. And I hope to see you all more again in another show very soon.
please don't
And
invite me, invite these two people.
no, we have to invite you, Bob. We have to invite you.
All right.
Okay, so thank you being on the show.
If you look at the quadrant, it's very balanced. There's 4 people,
Yeah.
very balanced with 2 male and 2 female. Yeah.
Yeah. And supported with a
So the
large group
gender
in the
equality
background.
is there,
Definitely,
Equality.
equality is there. Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so with that, let's say bye-bye to everyone here who have come.
Thank you,
and listened to the
everyone.
show.
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone. Happy Saturday. Selamat berbuka for all the Muslims.
Yes.
Selamat Hari Raya next week.
Yes,
Yeah,
some
Hari
Raya.
Raya.
Yeah.
Stay
Thank you
safe.
to everybody.
Stay healthy.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Bimi.
Observe
Thank you,
social
Lan.
distancing.